Department has said that the Trump administration decision complied with the environmental rules in place at the time, that the plaintiffs did not challenge the approval within the time limitations associated with the environmental review projects for the National Petroleum Reserve. So just a technicality. Conoco plans to install chillers into the permafrost, which is fast melting because of climate change, to keep it solid enough to support the equipment to drill for oil. In other words, it's a race between climate change and the ability of ConocoPhillips to prevent climate change from happening in this very small area that will support its drilling thing. And then they will pull the oil out, burn that oil, obviously, after they sell it, which will then contribute to the climate change that they are fighting to continue to drill that oil. I mean, that is...
It is absolutely fanciful that gaining Murkowski's favor in any way, fine, say she's indebted to you, right? Say she's indebted to the Biden administration. I'll give you that complete fiction. You need 60 votes for anything outside of reconciliation. So are you going to allow for oil drilling in 9 other states, or are you going to give away massive campaign promises in order to win over Lamar Alexander or whatever the other senators are? I mean, like, there is zero benefit to currying Murkowski's favor. Can you come up with?
I can come up with one scenario.
What?
And it is fantastical and completely hypothetical and even more improbable, but it is someone defects from the Democratic Party to the Republican Party, then Lisa Murkowski defects to the Democratic Party. Highly unlikely, almost totally unimaginable, but that's the only possible scenario I could imagine that this would have, what the value of this would be. Maybe they think there is value in having a failure to, I don't know. I mean, maybe
filibuster reform. Has she said no? Right? She's not gonna reform the filibuster.
I don't know. The only thing I do know, she's getting a Trumpy challenge in her primary. I don't know how worried she is about it. Republicans last time around ditched her a little bit. And so, she went in as that write-in. I don't know. But, man, I hope, I mean, I can't imagine. It's hard for me to imagine what would be worth it unless somehow she ended up voting and was the deciding vote in, the Green New Deal. And I can't work out a scenario. I don't have the brain capacity to work out a scenario where that would be the case. But if it was, then I'll be the first one to eat my, hat. I don't know what hat.
You're not a hat guy, are you?
I wear a lot of baseball caps.
Oh, really? I've never seen you in one.
Well, I mean, I don't wear it on the show.
Well, that's usually where I see you. Yes.
That's right. Let's all right. Let's just turn to what's going on with the infrastructure. Here is Senator Shelley Moore Capito describing the Republican counteroffer to the infrastructure. Honestly, this I don't know the last time I smiled this broadly over a Republican proposal, because this is hilarious that it even constitutes a counteroffer. Let's play this clip, number 4.
Where are we? Senate Republicans continue to negotiate in good faith. We've had a lot of good dialogue with the White House. We're trying to get to that common goal of reaching a bipartisan infrastructure agreement that we talked about in the Oval Office with the president several weeks ago, and I talked with him even previous to that. We believe that this counteroffer delivers on what President Biden told us in the Oval Office that day, and that is to try to reach somewhere near $1 trillion over an 8-year period of time that would include our baseline spending. We have achieved that goal with this counteroffer. But we've also, I think, done something that has stayed true to what our beliefs are when we very first started this this endeavor, and that is sticking to core physical infrastructure.
I mean, just absolutely hilarious.
Oh yes, we're back at the core physical infrastructure, right? Because this is what's important to the American public. Everyone's individual definition of what they believe falls under the infrastructure umbrella. Like, I'm already feeling the entire country fall asleep as I speak.
Indeed. And just to be clear, what they drop out of their bill, well, is just about everything. But it is the primarily one of the big things is $400 billion worth of elder care, because Americans don't want or need any care for their elders in this country. That's not infrastructure. If it helps support the family, it is not infrastructure. The only thing that infrastructure that constitutes infrastructure is, of course, filling potholes, period, end of story. Let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk about what is in this this deal for infrastructure. It is hilarious. We'll be right back after this. Okay, so we're talking about the infrastructure. You'll recall that Joe Biden's got two tranches of infrastructure bills, right? The first tranche, Emma loves it when I say tranche. I'm not exactly sure why, but
I mean, you have some tendencies, and I smile when you say certain words. Stunning, tranche. Yeah,
it is a tranche.
I didn't say anything. I didn't break up the segment. You did. Keep going.
The first tranche is a $2.3 trillion first cohort segment of an infrastructure bill that, like I said earlier, includes $400 billion worth of elder care. It includes things like electric charging stations across the country to enhance the production of electric vehicles. It involves obviously building high-speed rail and providing money for public transit across the country. Also, roads and bridges and all of that good stuff, and airports. Money for broadband internet around the country. And so it was last week, the Biden administration. And you remember when Capito initially came out, she said, like, well, we're thinking about $700 billion. And someone said, well, why that number? And they're like, it just sounded like a good number. Biden went from $2.3 trillion last week to $1.7 trillion. We don't know the details of what they were leaving out at that point. Maybe it was some lowering it across the board, removing some items, which involved like incentives for manufacturing, et cetera, et cetera. And the idea was that maybe we'll put that in a different bill that Democrats will pass through reconciliation. And then it was floated that the Biden administration might be interested in going down to $1 trillion. So the Republicans come back with a counteroffer unveiled this morning, which totals $928 billion over 8 years. So that is, on first blush, you're like, oh, well, I mean, Biden was willing to come down to $1 trillion, which, of course, is less than half of what he originally proposed. And they're almost willing to come up to $1 trillion. That in and of itself I would suggest would be a disaster unless there was really some genuine interest in the Democratic Party to go and pass the remaining stuff through reconciliation, which I think is dubious. But when you hear the details of this $928 billion, it becomes a total joke. The $928 billion includes only new spending of $260 billion. The rest either is included in what normally is spent on infrastructure in the budget that gets passed every year, or money that hasn't been spent for the COVID relief bill. So really, their counteroffer to the $1 trillion or $1.7 trillion turns out to be $260 billion.
Yeah, it's like the equivalent of, to borrow McConnell's, analogy, Biden is proposing a meal. And they're essentially scrapping together leftover salami from a sandwich from a week ago and saying, oh, this is a new meal that I cooked for you. And that's kind of what it is, because it's just leftovers or what you would normally have, like lying around. That's the extent of it. And they're trying to repackage it into something sexier. But hopefully this is all performative, right? I mean, hopefully even the $1 trillion going down to that by Biden is performative.
We got to sign off. But tomorrow, when we talk to Alex Perrine on the program, wrapping up the week, we're going to get deeper into this. But what we have been witnessing is this kabuki theater, and everybody knew it was going to go this way. And hopefully the Biden administration knew it too. And hopefully this has all been about Joe Manchin having the ability to say, I guess the Republicans are just not going to be a partner in this. And part of that ties into their filibustering the January 6th commission. We will talk more about this tomorrow on the program, because it is setting up the next 2 or 3 months as being the most important 2 or 3 months, I think, in the entire Biden administration. Until then, we will see you then, folks. Thanks for joining us on Peacock. And for those of you who are joining us everywhere else, which is a lot more places, going to head into the to the fun half. I just saw Chardonnay Socialist IM'd. The new name of my indie rock band is Stunning Tranche. Who's in?
I love
Stunning.
it.
Do I say Tranche?
Do you say tranche?
No. Do I say stunning? Do you hear me say stunning? Because stunning, I used to, it would be like the only thing I would say 90% of the time.
Yes, you still say it.
What?
Okay, thank you.
It's taken a lesser role, though, I feel like, over time.
Yeah. Bender will be able to tell you. I used to say stunning all the time, right?
Sam just asked if he says stunning.
You say, I say stunning all the time now because of you. I heard you say it every day for, I don't even know how many times per day. It's insane.
Yeah.
Same with unbelievable. Just delivered like that too. Unbelievable.
All right. Well,
Yeah, as somebody who used to clip the videos, that used to be my point of where I end it all the time. I just wait for Sam to say unbelievable, and then it's like, all right, that's the end of the video. So if you just scroll to the end of probably 75% of our YouTube clips, it's Sam saying unbelievable or that's stunning.
Well, and I would say the 75% of clips that were made before you got there, Matt, were also ending with unbelievable. That was my end point too.
I don't think I say stunning as much anymore. I think part of it is because I'm more numb, and so I'm not as stunned, or I can't sense that I'm stunned.
Gotcha.
Right, folks. Don't forget. Can people not find the YouTube stream today? What's going on?
No, that's a one-off case. The YouTube stream is up and doing great.
Okay.
It's doing great.
All right. Sam Seder simp. I'm sorry. Not much of a simp if you can't find the YouTube stream when everybody else can.
Blind simp.
All right, folks. Just a reminder, jointhemajorityreport.com, AM Quickie, the Majority Discord, et cetera, et cetera. Also tune into Nomi Show today, youtube.com/The Nomiki Show. Nomiki Show. youtube.com/The Nomiki Show. Matt Bender, let's start with you. What's happening on Doomed?
Well, there will be a show tonight. Sometimes things come up and people have to cancel last minute. So there will be a show tonight.
No kidding. No kidding.
Right. I recall back in the day.
Well, it happened today.
Oh, it did.
Yeah. What are you gonna do? Stunning.